This spotlight is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank. Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette. Today I'm joined by three local nonprofits, Senior Home Sharing, NAMI DuPage, and NaperVoice. You're watching Spotlight, and joining me now from Senior Home Sharing is Sarah White. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now, let's just start out with, how did you personally get involved with Senior Home Sharing?
Well, back in 2017, my dad was actually moved in as a resident of our Lombard home. We moved him in there because we had to move my mom into memory care facility, unfortunately. And this was just an excellent fit for him as far as affordability and kind of a built-in community. And so I quickly fell in love with the organization and became a member of the board about a year after my dad moved in. And I just stayed on the board for a number of years and eventually became president of the board. And then recently in 2023, the option to take over as executive director came up, and I couldn't resist. So,
yeah.
So that is, so here I am looking forward to serving the organization going forward as executive director.
Okay, well, that certainly is grassroots training. You've kind of seen the organization from all sides there.
I really have. Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. So give us a little bit, now you moved your dad in, but give us a little bit of an understanding about exactly what Senior Home Sharing is all about and what they do.
Sure. So we were founded back in 1981 by a couple that saw a need for affordable housing options in DuPage County. And so what we do now is we own residential homes that have multiple bedrooms, and we house seniors in a very affordable way. So they have to be independent, but each senior has their own their own bedroom in our homes. They have full use of all the common areas of the home, and we have a house manager that comes in and cooks 3 meals a day for them, and make sure that they are fully taken care of as far as meals and companionship, etc. So basically, what I like to say is we provide affordable living in a family or residential style living option for seniors in DuPage County.
Okay. And remind me again, how many homes do you have?
So we have 2 homes right now, one in Lombard and one in Naperville.
Okay.
And we've been in, like I said, both of those suburbs for decades now.
Yeah.
In addition to housing, we also have started an in-home senior counseling program as well to try and serve seniors from a very well-rounded approach to not only their physical needs, but also mental health needs as well.
Okay. And so what, from your perspective, really makes Senior Home Sharing unique?
I would say it's that sense of community that we form. Because you are not living alone in an apartment, by yourself, completely dependent on yourself for meals, we find that our seniors suffer from less loneliness. They've got the extra set of eyes from extra roommates and from the house managers on them. And, they eat every meal almost at a kitchen table together. So there's just that camaraderie. And I know for a fact that helped my dad a lot. Unfortunately, later in 2017, we lost my mom. And he had an instant support group with the roommates that he had. So to me, it's that sense of community that we give in addition to, the stability and affordability of our housing options.
Yeah, and sorry for your loss on that. And I would imagine, for folks like your dad, it's also people that are of a similar generation. So sometimes those losses, when it's somebody in the same generation as you, maybe a little bit different of a view on the process than a daughter or somebody younger or even older.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, he had roommates who were living with him at the time who had suffered similar losses, and they were interested in the same thing. So he automatically had something to occupy his time that would have otherwise been occupied by spending time with my mom. So it was really a wonderful gift.
And for you personally, as his daughter, what would you say in that whole time period? What was the thing that you most appreciated at the time?
It's the peace of mind. I can't explain how invaluable that is, to know that not only was he somewhere safe and somewhere where he could stay long term, and I knew he'd be able to afford long term, but he had another set of eyes that wasn't me, making sure that he was feeling well and doing well, not only, again, physically, but mentally and emotionally, just to have someone, checking in on him, making sure that he was coming out of his room and being, appropriately social and interacting as as we would expect. It was fantastic because I obviously was going through my own challenges, and I do feel that that's something that we really do that's different as well than other organizations. Is I mean, the peace of mind we give the family members and the caregivers of our seniors is pretty priceless.
Yeah. Now, obviously, those are the benefits. You have challenges as well. So what would those be?
Well, as we all know, costs, right? Costs are going up, and we have basically kept our rents pretty flat for about the last 10 years. And we do that to keep it affordable for our residents and for our clients who are calling in looking for options. We haven't felt that there's been a real ability to increase those rent numbers, but we all know food, utilities, over that same time span have gone up easily 25 to 30%. You pair that with increasing wages, et cetera. I feel like that's definitely our biggest challenge, is just being able to provide the level of service we always had for our residents in this time of increasing costs.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for most of us, right, in
Absolutely.
the nonprofit space. You've been doing some strategic planning. Talk a little bit about your goals for the next couple of years.
Absolutely. We would love to increase the number of seniors we're able to serve. So we feel that what we do between having a house manager, building that sense of community in the homes, providing nutritious meals on a regular basis, we feel like that's easily replicable over several properties. And that's what we would like to do is just increase the number of units we have in order to be able to serve even more seniors. So we're looking to partner with investors or donors any way that we can in order to, increase the number of units and seniors that we could serve.
Yeah, how are you seeing that need? I mean, for how many seniors total can you serve right now? And what would you say is potentially the need that you're seeing from the phone calls, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. We currently serve 15. We've got 15 rooms that we can across the two houses. And I would say I talk with someone, easily 2 to 3 times a week. I'll get phone calls of people looking for an option. So to me, in DuPage County, the need is kind of as big as our imaginations can grow, because that's going to continue to keep going. But several houses we would easily be able to fill if we were able to obtain those units.
And you've kind of got the infrastructure. You've already sort of worked out the kinks, if you will, with the infrastructure.
Yeah. This is what we've been doing now, like I said, since 1981. So, and we know kind of what works and, what the seniors really value and what's, really important to them.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you so much for coming by and sharing, senior home sharing.
Of course.
Sharing your story and a little bit about the organization. And we wish you the best with those goals.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you would like to learn more about senior home sharing, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.
This is the Run My Own Business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette, and joining me now from NAMI DuPage is Jerry Kerger and Eric Metcalf. And it's so nice to have you both on the show. And Jerry, we're going to start right out with you. Give us a little bit of an update on who is NAMI DuPage and what services you provide.
Well, NAMI is an acronym for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is the largest grassroots mental health organization in the United States. NAMI DuPage is one of about 600 affiliates. We're one of the larger ones. Last year we served over 23,000 people. Our services are almost all free or very low cost. Anyone can come and participate in our programs or services, but we do most of our activities are located within DuPage County, so that's why we're NAMI DuPage.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that surprises most people is that when they think about mental health, they think about psychiatry psychiatrists and they think about therapists. And the model that we use is one of lived experience. So our programs that are provided by people with that lived experience, which sometimes people will use the word peers, or the new name now is recovery support specialist, because recovery is used for both mental illness and substance use. So we use recovery support specialists and certified recovery support specialists to provide our programs, which are support groups, classes. We see 15,000 students every year in DuPage County in mental health education. So we provide a lot of programs, but they are all facilitated or co-facilitated with someone with that lived experience.
Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Eric in just a second, but that's a lot of stuff that you're doing and a
Yes.
lot of clients served.
Yes, 23,000, and
Yeah.
we could do double. The need is so great. Our support groups for individuals increased by 300% since the pandemic, and our living room service, which is an alternative to the emergency room for people that don't need that level of care, has increased 100% since the pandemic.
Wow, that's a lot.
There's a lot of mental health,
lot of
need.
services needed. So Eric, give us an understanding about that peer or lived experience recovery. How does that work? Why does it work?
Well, with the lived experience, you're talking about a person that gets it. Me, myself, being a veteran, I remember the first time I heard about the peer model was with another vet, and he was a peer. And he spoke to us and he shared things that I said only another veteran could share. That was a connection for me. So what we're doing now with the lived experience model is, because of the demand, as Jerry stated, we're training peers. We're training individuals who have a mental health challenge to actually get on this side of the field with serving and supporting others. It's a win-win, because as we're serving and helping others, we're helping ourselves.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask you, so from the person who's doing that giving, I would imagine that it fuels a lot of good things for you too, right?
A lot of empowerment, because our mission statement is to support, advocacy, and educate. So with us educating ourselves on our symptoms, on how to manage symptoms, how to ground ourselves, then we're able to share that with others who may be struggling. And because we've been through the struggle, we can share how we overcame and made it through the struggle, and how now we have to do daily maintenance.
Okay, that's interesting. And so I would imagine too, because I think we've talked about this before, Jerry, that saying I need help is very difficult for people, right? But if I'm with somebody that's had that same
Yes.
situation, I would imagine that kind of lowers the barriers a little bit.
Indeed. When the veteran that I listened to, when he spoke and shared his story, I felt a connection with him, because there were so many similarities. And that's what we do on a day-to-day basis at NAMI DuPage. We share our stories, sprinkle it, not the whole story, but as needed, based on the individual that we're supporting and providing services for.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, I know you've been very well rewarded by Endeavor Health as part of their community impact grants, and you receive more money for that training. So explain to us what that's going to be used for and how that's going to help NAMI DuPage.
Well, this grant is really a tremendous blessing, not only for NAMI DuPage, but for our community. And the reason being, as we just talked about, the great need right now, one of the problems you have in mental health is that people are going to the psychiatrist and to a therapist when sometimes they just need someone to talk to. Now, a psychiatrist and a therapist are fundamental to mental health care, but not everybody needs them for every situation. And this is where that peer model of support comes in so important. So if we can train more people as recovery support specialists, certified recovery support specialists, there'll be the psychiatrist, maybe they won't have the 3-month or 4-month wait to get in to see, or the therapist, so that people were really appropriately rationing, I guess, scarce resources.
Kind
So
of a continuum of care, right?
exactly.
Where do you kind of
where do you
where
go?
are you? Okay.
And so we can oftentimes be the bridge. So by training that is helping on a systemic level for everybody, okay? Additionally, as we're just saying about how it's helping the people that are providing this service, because they are becoming empowered and employed. Okay,
Yes.
so, and we're also, it's allowing us to provide services to people that might not otherwise have services, because part of our of this internship is to go out into the community and to provide these services to low-income folks who have a lot of barriers to accessing
A win-win-win.
mental health care.
Yes.
All the way around.
It's winning, yeah.
Yes.
And I think, you know, it's funny how sometimes those old adages are really true. A trouble shared is a trouble halved. Doesn't negate that maybe that trouble needs a therapist or a psychologist.
Yes.
But sometimes it is that ability to be able to say it out loud and
Exactly.
have a little feedback on that. So explain, Eric, kind of what your training is and how that's working.
It's very collaborative, meaning we go out in the field. We have relationships with hospitals. We have relationships with various shelters. And what we'll do is I'll take some of the interns, our CR, or Certified Recovery Support Specialist interns, I'll take them out with me so they'll shadow me. They'll see what I do in the field, because you have to speak to the audience. So we'll speak to various audiences so that they can get training in real time with a real person. And then that way also I can better assess what their developmental needs may be as far as additional training and support for them. And so it really is, as you said, a win-win-win, because as we're on the medical floor, we have access to actually get onto the behavioral health floor. So we're actually talking with doctors and other clinicians there, but we're staying within our lane of the peer model. So it's very collaborative with the medical team.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. And just as we think about, you know, because obviously you've talked about the need, and the need needs to be funded. So what do you have coming up in terms of events to support that, Jerry?
Well, we have a gala, April 27th, a Shine Light Gala, that'll be held at the Naperville Marriott. We're going to have a run walk, 5K, in September. Details for all of this is on our website. And we also are having a wide variety of programs for May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we have lots of activities planned for all of May. But we hope that people will go to our website and see that we are a very inclusive community, but we really rely on public funding. So our gala and our run are tremendous ways to participate, and we are always in need of volunteers in the public too. So we are grateful. We have many volunteers that come forward, not just for these programs, but to do other things as well for us. And so we're really grateful to live in a community that has resources and people willing to share their time, talent, and treasure.
And some of these peers, if I think back to when I first met them, no confidence, very little as far as social skills, and now to see them stand in front of a group, a large body of people, and share their story, it's amazing. You can see the growth, it's exponential.
That's wonderful. Well, listen, I am so glad you stopped by. Great. I'm happy for you with the money and the training, and it's so great to hear the success stories, and we wish you all the best. And if you would like to find out more about NAMI DuPage, as Jerry said, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but we're coming right back with more Spotlight.
This is Busey, where your dreams become moments. With trusted guidance, we'll help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
Naperville Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report some suspicious activity in my neighborhood. How does this work?
Yes, thanks for calling. Your call is anonymous, and I will not ask for your name. Instead, you'll be identified by a tip number. In a few weeks, call back with the tip number you received, and I will let you know the status of your tip. If an arrest is made, you could receive a reward up to $1,000.
How do I get the reward money if you don't know who I am?
Well, when you call back, we set up a time and a place to drop the money. You will be safe, and nobody will know you gave Crime Stoppers a tip.
Okay, well, here's what's going on.
Welcome back to Spotlight. And joining me now to talk about NaperVoice is Phil Spencer and Jennifer Lehman. So very nice to have you both on the show today. And Phil, you know, you're the founding director of NaperVoice. We've chatted a couple of times since you launched this endeavor. So why don't you give us a little update on how things are going? You know, you've had a couple of concerts in 2022, 2023. How's it going?
Thanks, Jane. Yeah, the first time I was here, NaperVoice was just kind of an optimistic idea yet in 2022. I hadn't done any auditions yet. We didn't have a venue. We didn't have funding. So in the last 2 years, all of those things have come to fruition, and it's probably one of the most exciting and joyful musical things that I've had in my 40-plus years of being a full-time professional musician. So the singers, I did over 50 auditions. Every singer is a delight. I've met such great people. We've had 3, as you mentioned, sold-out concerts so far. We've raised over $6,000 for our charity partners at those concerts, and it's just been going so well. We've had excellent high school and college interns who've served as student conductors and student instrumentalists. We've just had great attendance, and so I could not be happier with the way things have developed in these past 2 years.
Fun to think something and then it come to reality.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I loved your slogan. So tell the viewers your slogan, because I think that sort of also encapsulates what NaperVoice is all around.
Well, the mission is sing well, do good.
Yes.
And so those interact with each other. It's just not singing well technically, but it's singing well in a way that can touch people's hearts and touch people's lives. And the doing good is not just a financial contribution to our charities for each concert, but it's also a feeling of doing good in the community with our musical presentations and just creating an awareness, I guess, of other nonprofits beside ourselves that also need support. So those two, as I said, kind of interact and blend together, but they really speak about the music and the philanthropic nature of the choir.
Yeah, I love that. Sing well, do good.
Yes.
I can do one of those. I can't.
Which one? Is it?
Yeah, I can't sing well. But Jennifer can sing well on here. So talk a little bit about it from your perspective, which is very obviously different than the creator and the founder of the organization. Talk about it as a singer.
Yes, it can be very hard to find your place in music as an adult, whether you're a music educator or you have a job that has nothing to do with music. It's very hard to carve out that time and find a group that performs at such a high level. We're fully auditioned that you can really be a part of and give back to your community. We have folks from 20 years old to 75 years old, which you don't see that every day in a choir in 20-plus communities. So it's not even just Naperville, and that draw is so impactful, and knowing that people want to come and sing with us and make that drive is great. So it's just such a unique opportunity, and being part of a newly formed group is very energizing too, because we get to be the sound and define what NaperVoice is along with Phil. So it's a really positive and unique experience.
Yeah, so give us a little bit of background on yourself. Like, how did you come to singing?
Yes, I've been singing my whole entire life, in college, high school, all of that. But I really struggled to know what to do when I was an adult, because I didn't want music to be my profession, but I love it and I love to sing, and I have 15 years of training as a vocalist. So when I saw the audition for NaperVoice, I thought I have to try out and give this a shot, and I was newer to the community. So it's been amazing to actually find a place where I feel like I belong in Naperville.
That's great. So you got a home through singing.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes,
perfect. Had that tagline.
I know, exactly. Yes, definitely.
That's wonderful. Phil, talk a little bit. You've got an upcoming concert in April, and I know everyone that you're doing is a little bit different. Yes. So say more.
Well, the theme for this April 21st concert is Wonderful World, great music from 6 continents.
Oh,
so
okay.
I wanted to do a kind of a world music focused concert. It's built around the Louis Armstrong hit from 1967, What a Wonderful World.
Love that song.
And by the way, he's the guy that Robert De Niro quoted in The Intern, where Louis Armstrong said, musicians never retire, they just quit when there's no more music left in them. So I kind of identify with that, because I retired from teaching 3 years ago, but I thought I could not retire from music. So this was a way to continue my music making too. But back to the concert, it's going to have music in 5 different languages, 4 different genres. I think there'll be classical, there'll be folk, there'll be jazz, and there'll be pop. Okay. All represented. So something for everybody, something for all ages. In fact, we've created a $5 student ticket for this concert. and kids under 12 and under are always free. So we're hoping that lots of kids and youth will be able to attend, because I think that'll be enjoyable for all ages. We are also going to pair for the first time with our charitable partner, who this time is another musical organization. And they will be participating in the concert as well as being the recipient of our funds. And that's entitled Mays Music Center of Excellence here in Naperville.
Yep.
They're just about as new as we are, if not newer, I think. And they're providing music instruction and music ensembles for underprivileged populations, doing great work. So they're going to send their harmony and soul small ensemble to be a part of our concert, and we're going to collaborate on the last two pieces on the show, which are going to be gospel music. So we've really been looking forward to that. We've already worked with one of their directors on one of our pieces, and so we're hoping that's going to be a real positive collaboration for everyone.
Wonderful. And where's the concert going to be?
Concert is going to be where the other previous three have been, which is Grace United Methodist Church.
Okay.
On Gardner Road, and they've been such open and generous hosts for all of our rehearsals and all of our concerts. They just see it as part of their community service, community outreach too, and it's a marvelous place to perform. The acoustics are just perfect for any kinds of music.
So, Phil, obviously that's exciting, but I want to ask you, Jennifer, how do the audiences react to these concerts? Because you've talked a little bit about what you do, but how are they receiving?
Yeah, so I think of our concerts as more of an experience than just a sit down and listen, and I've gotten that feedback from so many folks in the audience. As Phil mentioned, we have a lot of collaborators throughout the community, and I think that adds a really special and energizing aspect to it. And then I also think we do a great job of walking folks through the why behind the music. Why are we singing this? What's the flow? What story are we going through here? We have our world music theme this time around, but I think that is what makes us so different, is that I feel like everyone feels more connected after the concert. We have a little reception where folks can get to know each other. So I think that's why we've been sold out every single season so far, and why it's so packed is because people come and they know they're going to have a real experience where they can actually connect with us, and that is so energizing for everyone in the whole entire room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is music does bring us together, but understanding a little bit about the background of the music often is very helpful.
Absolutely.
Also, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Jennifer, and to Phil. We really appreciate you stopping by. We wish you all the best with your upcoming concert. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. And for more information about NaperVoice, please go and visit their website. I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining us on Spotlight, and our friends at Busey Bank for their generous sponsorship of today's show. To learn more about the organizations featured on this episode, please visit our website at nctv17.org. And to stay informed about what's happening in our community, sign up to receive our daily news update and like and follow us on social. For Spotlight, I'm Jane Wernette. Thank you for watching. This Spotlight is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.